battlefield was silent. Where once there had been war cries and screams, now there was only the sound of the wind through scorched grass and broken steel. The sky above was clear for the first time in weeks, and the sun, pale but warm, rose over a land reborn. Andrea sat on a rise overlooking the ruins of Vector's fortress, the Sphere of Varniel resting in her lap. It no longer glowed with divine fire. Instead, it pulsed softly, calm, resting, as if it too had fought, and now dreamed of peace. Catelyn approached, her robes singed and stained with ash. The wounded are being cared for. We lost many, but we won. Andrea nodded slowly. I don't think I ever truly believed it was possible. Neither did I, Catelyn admitted. But you showed us the way. Down below, Larry helped clear the last of the wreckage from the keep's gate, while Bucky barked orders to a group of dwarves reinforcing a new wall. Even in peace they could not sit still. Therion, once again in his human form, stood by what remained of Vector's throne. The Lich's crown now lay in pieces beside him. It's over, he said as Andrea joined him. But the world won't heal overnight. No, Andrea agreed, but we've taken the first step. They turned as a horn sounded from the horizon. A small caravan approached, envoys from distant kingdoms that had once hidden in fear. Now, they came bearing treaties and thanks. Andrea looked down at the sphere. What do we do with it? Therion's expression was unreadable. Keep it safe. It's a symbol now, of unity, of what we can do when we stand together. She nodded. Then it will stay with me. That night, they lit 1,000 lanterns across the field, each one a memory, a name, a promise. Songs were sung, toasts were made, and those who had lived through darkness danced beneath the stars. Bucky drank and laughed heartily with old friends. Larry stood watch at the edge of camp, his sword sheathed but his eyes sharp. Catelyn sat beside Andrea near the central bonfire, her expression full of quiet gratitude. Andrea found herself watching the flames, her thoughts drifting. So many had died. Chad, the elves, the soldiers who had believed. But the world had been saved, and that was worth everything. Therion stood silently by the remains of the fortress, gazing into the night sky. Slowly, Andrea joined him. Will you stay? She asked. He shook his head. For a time, but there are still places in need of fire. The gold dragons do not rest, while evil sleeps. Andrea offered a soft smile. We'll keep watch here. He nodded and turned his gaze back to the stars. Then our stories are not over. They're just beginning anew. As dawn broke, Andrea stood with her companions at the edge of the ruined battleground. The light touched their faces, painting them in gold. Together, they walked forward, not as warriors, not as survivors, but as legends of a land that now whispered their names with every breeze. And far below, in the deepest vault of the earth, unseen and ancient eyes opened in the dark, a new shadow stirred. But that would be another tale, the end.